Hello everyone, it's Danzen here. So this is our day 7 about the new foundational C# with Microsoft that collab with Free Code Camp. I think we have a lot of knowledge. We have discussed so many things from the first day. Write your first C# code that's tell you about how to type hello world and differentiate between the console write line and write. So many things, a bunch like store and retrieve data using variables and values, basic string formatting, and we doing some math here. And finally is guided projects. So let me claim the trophy for now and verify. Yes, I claim it. That means I finished this. Write your first code using C#, the part 1. And then I can continue to the day 8, and that is will be the first video for the part 2. So it will be tomorrow, but for now I actually made some notes, which is here. Actually you can download it in the GitHub, will be linked below in the description. So this is the notes here. Let me see. Okay, this is my notes. I built it today. This the part 1 note is actually from the module 1, from the basics, which is here, and data types, module 2, and continue to the module 3, which is talking about the string formatting, and then the module 4, operation on numbers. And let me just elaborate a bit about the notes that I made it today. It's all about C#, but this one is very basics, and it's start with the console write line, and almost everybody knows what is hello world, and it's the most tutorial ever that even in elementary school know about the hello world tutorial. Every programming language should be know about this, which if we input the hello world, it will be a result. The result will be hello world. But in this context, we need to differentiate between write line and write. What is the difference? Actually, the difference is write line will output hello world, but and the next instruction will append a new line here. But the write without any line, write without line will not append new line. So the result will be just hello world. This one is for example here. Okay, see there. What if we input 3 console write line hello world? The result will be like this. Okay, and what if we remove the line here and continue to copying it until 3? The result, the output will be in a single line. Okay, so that's it. And if you see that this one is a yes, that means the syntax is already correct, because there's no single mistake in here. Console is about class, write line is about the method, and hello world is the literal strings. It's available, all of them, and it ends up with the semicolon. Okay, perfect. So that means this single code is correct. But if you see the bottom one is no, because of what? A write line hello world is already correct, but the red squared one is false, because the C is not capitalized. If you see the upper one, the C is capitalized, but the bottom one is not. It's still lowercase, so that's why it will result an error in here. Any of you as the user of C# must know how to diagnose an error. Here is for the example, if something error happens to your code, the result will be something like this: error, the name console. The console here you have to identify. It should not be always console, but can be other things like write line. Maybe you wrote it like W without the R things, so the write line will be replaced here. Just see the guidelines and you will be know how to diagnose an error. This is just one example of how to diagnose an error. If you see this, the console, that means this word is wrong, it's incorrect, the syntax is incorrect. That means you have to replace something that is correctly as the guideline says. The thing that you have to do is change the C to the uppercase, and the result will be not be an error, but instead it will output hello world correctly. So that's it, how to diagnose an error. Okay, and we see here is about the comments. Comments usually have a color of green in the C#, but if you have any theme, like to change any colors, comments colors, you want to change it to red or maybe brown, blue, or any other colors, that's fine. Usually it's available in the extension, but for now it's about the basics. The default colors of comments is green. Just simply put the double backslash here, and any of the right code will automatically become the comments. It's useful for description, for title, for code that in the future will be used. So that's very come in handy anyway. So the next module 2 is talking about the data types. Yeah, data types. There are actually more than 5 data types, but here we have only the 5 basic data types that almost 99% will be used by any users because how powerful they are. It starts from the string, char, integer, decimal, boolean. String and char is about the plain text. You literally just representing any plain text. So usually the color of string and char is red. The difference between string and char, string has more characters, words, usually sentence, except one character, because char is only have one character, and the actual difference is string has the double quotation mark and char has single quotation mark. Okay, so those are string and char, which related to any kind of alphanumeric. It can be a numeric, but as a string, but not just doing some operation like integer and decimal here. Okay, let's talk about the numbers data types, starting from the integer. Okay, integer, that means you stated integer is as whole numbers. Any kind of whole numbers is okay to put it in here, like 21, 40, 100s. You can actually put minus there. Just not any alphanumeric, just purely numbers there. But the only difference here, integer have no any fractional number after the decimal, but the decimal have fractional numbers. So that's the difference. And essentially the process how the C# read this as a compiler is a little bit different here. Integer is only have no fractional numbers, but the decimal have fractional numbers, and the process is the same. It's different too. Okay, decimal 3. All right. So this decimal here, here for example 3.14, and don't forget to put the suffix here. M means the decimal, and actually there are more than decimal for about the floating numbers point, like double and float, but I think the only precise one is decimal. Like almost everyone in C# user usually use the decimal as their favorite data types because it's the best, it's the most precise data types for any kind of floating numbers related things. So yeah, about the double data types, it doesn't need any suffix here, but the float is almost the same characteristic like decimal. It needs suffix, but the difference, decimal use M suffix as a suffix, but float using the F as a suffix. 3.14 F, it's for float. And finally, we can see the bool here. Bool is boolean, and the only two options of boolean values is whether true or false, and it's essentially used for any kind of logic related things, logic gates if you know how to, and almost every programmer will usually play boolean as their logic and problem solving. And actually, if you learn about the algorithm, we use boolean so much, like if the conditional, if this is, then it will be like this, yeah, something like that, then the conditional will be happen, the conditional statement will be happen, something like that. Okay, and this is the example. Integer item quantity equal to 10. Also, don't forget the semicolon here. This one of example of how to type the data types with the variable and the values correctly. Here it is. Okay, and actually how to retrieve data anyway. How to retrieve data. This one is how you recall the variable, how you recall the 10 without having to put the literal values here. So you just need to put a variable in here. So the result will be the console point write item quantity. That's it. Item quantity. The output will not be the same like this word item quantity, but instead console write line, this item quantity will be replaced by 10 because item quantity is equal to 10, so the output must be 10. That's it. I forgot that a whole of the data types actually can be combined as a one, like if I can say all in one and it become 4, which is variable. So any kind of variable here, like status, it doesn't need any data types here, but instead just simply put var and then variable, which is status here, equal to false. This one of example. If we put false here, the variable here will be initialized as a boolean. Okay, and other example, if we put any kind of numbers without any fractional after the decimal, the var will become an integer. Okay, one more. If we put any kind of plain text like giraffe, the variable will become string. That's how the variable works. It just depends on the values. If the values have the values of one of the data types value, it becomes that data types, like I said before. So that is the data types, and that's how it works. Okay, let's go to the module 3 nodes, which is string formatting, starting from the character escape sequence, which almost programmer newbie will understand about this. It's very basic for string formatting. You cannot miss this one. The first one is \n, which will append new line. It's the same concept like enter. When you enter in your node, it will go to the next line. It's the same concept, literally like this. And we have \t, horizontal tab. Tab is actually the same thing like space, but tab have 4 white space characters. So if you put \t after the any kind of plain text, the next plain text after the \t will have 4 white space characters on it. Or I can say just skipping 4 spaces and then go to the next text or go to the next string. That's it. Okay, here we got the double backslash or backslash in the backslash here. Because if I remember, you cannot just put the backslash or the double quotation mark in the code in the string inside of the literal strings, because it will result an error. But what you have to do is put the backslash first and then backslash or the quotes that you want, and it will be work. That's how you do. And so this one is what called a special character. Yeah, this one is special character, or just says the character escape sequence. But I think this one is the most special because it's Unicode. Unicode means you can literally just put any kind of character that is other than numeric and other than normal numbers. For example, here we have sigma, or what is this? Sigma numbers, sigma Unicode, like Greek small. Yeah, it's kind of like sigma. Sigma in UTF-16. UTF is for Unicode transformation. What is it? UTF. What is UTF anyway? Oh, Oh yeah, Unicode transformation format. So we have the UTF-16. 16 means is bit, 16-bit. UTF 16-bit. There are more than UTF-16, which is 32. If you want, it has more complex, I think. And then here we have the verbatim. The verbatim is free. Okay. If you don't want to use any character escape sequence here, yeah, especially for the backslash here and the double quotation, I think not double quotation mark, but printing backslash and the new line here, you can actually just use the verbatim concept. Here is for the example, console.writeLine. Don't forget to use the @ sign as a prefix before the literal strings. So the result will be line 1 is keep but and backslash. The result will be the same like this input, exactly the same, without having any error. But if you don't put the @ sign here, it will result an error. Why? Because you just keep you just enter this one and you put the backslash without the double backslash here, the result will be an error. So that's how the verbatim come in handy. It's very useful. Okay, so it's just free \n and yeah, white space. This for especially for lazy people without having one to interfere with any character escape sequence, but basically it's useful. So let's go to the next one. Is concatenation. Concatenation is appending line appending variables with variables, or variables with literal strings, or literal string with literal strings, and so other things. So the concept is just combining one to other things with the plus sign as the concatenation. This plus sign will concatenate between two things, which is the left is items is literal strings here, and the right side is item quantity is as a variable. So combining the literal strings and the variables, and it completely fine. The result will be a string as well. It depends on the item quantity. If the item quantity is equal to 10, then the result will be like this: items equal to 10. Okay, and then we have the interpolation. It's the same concept, almost exactly the same concept like concatenation, but this is more common and more popular, more powerful, and almost developer use it. So here is the format, console.writeLine. Don't forget to use the $sign right before the literal string, so the code here, the literal string here will be work, or else it will be the normal one. So yeah, the items, you use the curly braces and put whatever variables you want here, and the result will be 10. The only difference between concatenation and interpolation is you in concatenation you actually put the variables outside of the literal strings, but in interpolation actually you can put the variables but with the curly braces open and close inside of the double quotation mark. So that's the difference. Inside and concatenation is outside, but with plus sign. Interpolation with the $sign as the prefix. So we can continue to the next module, nodes, module 4. It's about the operation on numbers, about mathematics. Almost everyone loves mathematics, I think. It's because in elementary school we already know about the math operator. It's plus, minus, subtraction, multiplication, division. It's easy, but more to the top is a little bit difficult, just in complex way, I think. Yeah, we use the PEMDAS concept. So what is PEMDAS actually? So here, as you can see, PEMDAS help us to order the operation between operators, like which is start first. Is it plus, or is it multiplication, or is it the bracket ones? We don't know without PEMDAS concept. But with PEMDAS, you will see the top priority one that needs to be do first is bracket. So yeah, bracket is the first priority, the top priority. The second one is exponent, but basically the exponent is not available in C# unless you use the class library C#, which you have to put a method here, which is system.math.po, and you can use the exponent concept here. The third priority is multiplication, modulus, and division. And finally, the bottom priority one is addition and subtraction. So that is the lowest priority. If any case, the bracket one is on the right side, but the plus one in the left side, the bracket ones will be done first. Okay, here is, for example, console write line. If I put 5 plus 3 times 6, what will be the result? The result is it will be 48, or the result will be 90. Let's see. Yeah, 23. 23 is the result because multiplication must be done first. So 3 times 6 is equal 18. 18 plus 5 is equal 23. If not you start from the left side, from the 5 plus 3 first, 8. 8 multiplied by 6 is equal 48. That's not how it works. The code that how it works, you have to use the PEMDAS concept, which is here. From the top priority, which multiplication is upper priority rather than plus, and then you want to continue to the addition as the final task after the multiplication. So what happened if I add another one, which is here, plus, okay, plus, but I put the bracket here, will the result become 29? Yes, 29. We know that multiplication is done first before the plus, but we see there is a bracket here. That means the bracket must be done first, and then we can continue to the left side, which is multiplication. 6 plus 2 is equal 8. 8 times 3 is equal 24. 24 plus 5 is equal 29. That's the output, and we can continue. Yes, cast opera, not I forgot this one. So about the division and modulus. So here how the division work, like this, integer 6 divided by 4 is equal, actually in the math is equal to 1.5, but here as you can see is equal 1 because this is programming. The integer will truncate any numbers after the decimal, any fractional numbers between after the decimal will be truncated. So here 0.5 is truncated, so the left is only 1 here because the data types of this code is integer. Integer will ignore any kind of floating number after the decimals. That's it. Yeah, and we talk about the modulus here. 6 mod. I can say that this read as a mod. 6 mod 4 is equal to why? Because 6 divided by 4 is equal 1 with a remainder of 2. So 6 mod 4, 6 divided by 4 is equal 1, but they will give us a remainder, and the remainder of 6 divided by 4 is 2. Yeah, it's just like 6 minus by 4 is equal to. Okay. Oh yeah, forgot that how can we output the 1.5? So decimal 16. 10. Oh. Decimal 6m. So the 6 have the suffix here, which is m, but the integer here doesn't have any suffix. That's how you output the 1.5. 6m divided by 4 is equal 1.5 because decimal is about the fractional numbers related things. Okay, continue to the cast operator. Cast operator is about the conversion. Like if you want to convert from one data types to other data types, you can use the cast operator as your come in handy. Integer to decimal or vice versa, or string to integer and others. So here is the format: decimal open and close brackets with decimal inside of it, and then continue with the variable here. So yeah, here is for the example of cast operator. Yes, as you can see, decimal grade points average equal to decimal total grade points here. The variable here is actually the first data types is, where is the grade points? Oh, here. Total grade points data types is integer. So if we don't use decimal data types, decimal cast operator here, the result will become integer, even though that the grade point average variable is decimal. But we need to convert this total grade points and total credit hours. Actually, not we don't need both of them to be converted, but just one of them and it will work perfectly fine. You can put the cast operator here or before the total credit hours, or you can just put two of them, so the readability will be much better, but one is fine. Decimal here, the result will be like decimal data types like it's expected, so it must be fractional. Okay, so continue to the compound assignment operator. Here we have the operand plus equal 3, or you can read this as addition assignment 3 is the same as operand equal operand plus 3. So if the operand is equal to 2, that means 2 plus 2 plus 3. I'm sorry, operand plus 2 plus 3 is equal 5. So the next operand value will be 5. The same thing like this. The operand plus, if the previous operand is equal to 2, that means the operand here will be 3, because this compound assignment is the same as concept like here. Okay, the same apply to subtraction assignment, multiplication assignment, and division assignment. That's it. Finally, the increment and decrement operators that almost everybody hate it, because sometimes it's a little bit tricky here. So you need just know how to differentiate them. Here we have the integer item quantity is equal to 10. So the prefix here, the plus value, is, how it works actually. For the plus right before the value, which we call it as a prefix, the value is incremented to 11 first, then use. So here, for example, in the first line, the value is already incremented to 11. So 10 on the first line is immediately incremented to 11. And the next line will be remain the same and can be used normally. Okay, but what you have to worry about it is the value that have postfix in here. So the plus 1 is after the value. You need to a little bit worry about this, because the value is used first but not incremented. Is used first but not incremented, then incremented to 11. So the first line, the value will still remain the same. Okay, it's not immediately be incremented to 11, but instead in the second line it will be incremented. Okay, that's the difference. Just read this as before value and value after. After means will be incremented after. That's how I read actually. Same applies to decrement, minus value and value minus. Sebentar. So finally, we have the guidelines project. This one is the real examples, real code, like in the C# net editor. Here we have the string student's name, Sophia Johnson. And this one is should be the output. Yes, Sophia Johnson here, because this one is string and the output will be string as well. Okay, to be noticed that the red color is related to string here, like this one, Sophia Johnson. This is string related. Also this one is string. Okay, that's it. And I think the time is already. Other notes you can read it by anyway. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until tomorrow, bye bye.